The story begins with a company called Genesis, which has sent 6 astronauts on a one-way mission to Mars. These astronauts are not just visiting. They are there to establish the first permanent human settlement. The hope is that if their mission succeeds, more humans will join them in the future. 2 months into the journey, the crew's leader, Sarah, makes an unexpected discovery. She is pregnant. When the rest of the crew and mission control on Earth learn about it, they are deeply concerned. However, the mission proceeds as planned, and before long, the crew finally arrives on Mars. As they prepare for landing, it becomes clear that Sarah is about to give birth. With no other option, the 5 astronauts work together and successfully help her deliver a baby boy. Tragically, after giving birth, Sarah experiences severe health complications due to Mars' low gravity. Despite their efforts, she does not survive. Meanwhile, the team on Earth examines the baby's medical reports and discovers something unusual. Having been born in Mars' weaker gravity, his body, especially his heart, is vastly different from that of a child born on Earth. They soon realize that if he were ever brought to Earth, he wouldn't survive due to its stronger gravity. Faced with a difficult decision, the head of Genesis determines that the child must remain on Mars to survive. However, this decision requires significant funding to ensure the Mars project continues. To secure their mission and avoid public scrutiny, the company decides to keep the entire situation a secret. The crew agrees to keep the existence of Gardner, the first human born on Mars, unknown to the outside world. As the years pass, Gardner grows up. By the time he turns 16, he has only met 14 people in his entire life. Despite his isolation, he is remarkably intelligent, partly due to being raised by astronauts and partly because of his natural intellect. Living at the research camp, Gardner has always been curious about his origins, particularly about his parents. He knows nothing about his mother, Sarah, and has no idea who his father is. One day, he discovers a locked compartment that once belonged to his mother. Driven by curiosity and determination, he manages to hack the passcode and open it. Inside, he finds a bag containing a ring and a pen drive. He slips the ring onto his finger and connects the pen drive to the system. Upon opening the files, he finds a video of his mother on a beach with a man. In the video, she is laughing and joking with him before they leave together. Convinced that this man is his father, Gardner takes a screenshot of his image. Meanwhile, Gardner has been chatting online with a girl from Earth named Tulsa. She is bold, adventurous, and dreams of traveling the world. She confides in him about her struggles in the foster care system, while Gardner tells her about his own limitations. He reveals that he has osteogenesis imperfecta, a condition that makes his bones fragile and prevents him from leaving Mars. However, Tulsa doesn't believe him. She assumes he is joking and imagines he is just a boy living in a tent somewhere in New York City. While Tulsa longs for a sense of stability, Gardner feels increasingly trapped in his isolated life on Mars. One day, in frustration, he sneaks out of the research center and drives recklessly across the Martian surface. Unfortunately, his vehicle flips over, leaving him in a life-threatening situation when his oxygen supply disconnects. Just in time, Kendra, one of the astronauts who deeply cares for him, arrives and rescues him. She helps him breathe and brings him back to safety. Once they return to the research center, Kendra questions Gardner about how he managed to unlock his mother's compartment. He casually responds that, being raised by scientists, it wasn't too difficult for him to figure out. Later, Kendra has a serious discussion with the head of Genesis, suggesting that Gardner should be allowed to go to Earth because it's what he wants. While the head of Genesis also wishes to bring Gardner to Earth, he knows the risks are extremely high due to his unique condition. Gardner would require several complex surgeries just to survive Earth's gravity. Despite the dangers, Kendra convinces him, and preparations begin. Gardner undergoes extensive medical procedures and rigorous physical training to adapt his body for the journey. Throughout this process, Kendra supports him every step of the way. Once everything is set, Gardner contacts Tulsa to share the news. He tells her that after months of preparation, he will finally be able to come to Earth. Tulsa, as bold as ever, tells him to hurry before the foster care system moves her again. With everything in place, Gardner embarks on his journey. As the spacecraft heads toward Earth, he asks Kendra if she knows where his father is. She gently replies that she doesn't, and when he presses further, asking if she knows his father's name, she once again says no, but assures him that if she had known, she would have told him. Upon arriving on Earth, Gardner undergoes additional medical tests, but the results are troubling. His body is struggling to handle Earth's gravity, and there is a real possibility that he may need to be sent back. Frustrated, Gardner decides to escape. For the first time, he experiences the joy of true freedom, running across Earth's surface. When it starts raining, something he has never seen before, he stands in awe while others rush indoors. Determined to meet Tulsa, Gardner catches a bus to her college. When he finally sees her, he excitedly calls her name. Though happy to see him, Tulsa is also furious that he disappeared for 7 months without any contact. After a moment of frustration, she forgives him. However, as she heads to class, Gardner follows, pretending to be a student. When the teacher asks a question about Thomas Edison, another student responds casually, calling Edison in quote badass. And quote, Gardner corrects him, explaining Edison's role in developing direct current while Nikola Tesla was responsible for alternating current. His insightful response impresses the class, though they remain unaware of his unusual upbringing. After class, Tulsa confronts Gardner and demands to know where he is really from. He simply replies, Mars. Laughing, she thinks he's joking, but Gardner insists, explaining that his mother died giving birth to him, and that he is on Earth to find his father. He shows her a photo of the man from his mother's video, but he has no idea where to start looking. Seeing how serious he is, Tulsa agrees to help. They begin their search by looking into his mother's ring, which turns out to be a rare and custom-made wedding band. This leads them to the jeweler who crafted it, providing an address as a clue to Gardner's father. However, along the way, Gardner's health rapidly declines. He collapses, and Tulsa rushes him to a hospital, where doctors are shocked by his abnormal physiology. Realizing Gardner was telling the truth all along, Tulsa understands that Earth's gravity is slowly killing him. Despite his condition, Gardner insists on leaving the hospital. He and Tulsa finally reach the house from the photo. Inside, they find the man from the video. Overjoyed, Gardner believes he has found his father. However, the man, overwhelmed, insists he is not Gardner's father. Confused, Tulsa asks who he really is. After a pause, the man reveals that Sarah was his sister. Heartbroken, Gardner wanders toward the ocean, whispering, "It doesn't matter. My mom was here. I can feel her here." Weakened, he collapses into the water. Just then, Kendra and the head of Genesis arrive. Together, they pull Gardner out and manage to revive him. The head of Genesis, usually composed, breaks down in tears. Gardner looks at him and asks, "What was my mom like?" The man, emotional, finally admits the truth. He is Gardner's father. An emergency evacuation is arranged to take Gardner off Earth. His father, now determined to save him, pilots a special aircraft into the upper atmosphere, where Earth's gravity weakens. Almost instantly, Gardner's condition improves. However, the reality remains, he cannot stay on Earth. With no other choice, he must return to Mars. Saying his goodbyes, Gardner leaves behind his father, Tulsa, and Kendra, but his connection with them remains. He continues communicating with Tulsa, and one day, Kendra surprises her with the news that she is retired and decided to adopt her. She even suggests they train together to visit Gardner on Mars. The movie concludes with Gardner and his father walking on Mars, at peace. Though the film didn't perform well at the box office, its emotional journey leaves a lasting impact. What did you think of the story? Let us know in the comments below.